The tension in the air was nothing short of palpable. One could taste the pure elation and excitement that permeated every inch of space in the stadium. The sun from the blue star above us casting a calming light, illuminating the visage of the great Tsar high atop his throne. The great prophecy had come true, and we had found the holy word of our God. In the middle of the room, a giant holographic display of the holy world of the goddess of life. The Tsar looked proud and elated, the imagery of the planet slowly turning to show it off. We had sent millions of probes and thousands of ships into the empty void, for tens of thousands of years, and finally we found a world. Even from a cursory photograph taken only a few hours prior, one could tell this world was promising. It fit all the descriptions spoken of within the great litanies. A series of previously connected continents, interspersed with vast oceans. A world where land is green in some places, then yellow in others. Lands where barren deserts kiss the edges of giant forests and open plains. Lands where freezing oceans surround sheets of ice and open winter wonderlands. This planet was a menagerie of difference and diversity, from the very ground it was made of. We sent a ship to travel the great distances to reach the system and take more pictures, conduct scans and identify diversity. We all stood in proud reverence as we looked at the amazing pictures. It truly looked like home. We were waiting patiently, waiting for the scout ship we sent to explore the star system. The display screeched and twitched that way holograms sometimes do when someone is attempting to change or modify the code when it was active. It briefly flickered, then changed. The crew of the scout ship finally showed on the display. The display showed the ship's bridge, the captain at his seat, frantically but silently ordering his ship crew about while he himself checked reports and readouts. Behind him, prostrating themselves in their species' own ways, were the ship's science officer, the head commissar, and a lowly communications technician. Everyone wondered what the odd menagerie was about. "Forgive us, my great lord, for we are unworthy. We request permission to return a report for His Holiness," the commissar said. "I find you worthy. You may speak," the Holy One said in return. "We have positively confirmed and identified the presence of the Holy World, Your Greatness. We are currently running proper scans and collecting data, but even preliminary sweeps label this planet as the most biodiverse in the known galaxy," the science officer said. The room erupted into uncontrolled elation, and the entire galaxy began to celebrate. The great Tsar smiled, actually smiled, as we started to receive readouts and data spreadsheets. Even basic scanning techniques were returning truly incredible results. Tens of thousands of species, subspecies, variations and types. Water, land, air. Even the quantity of microbial life was beyond imagining. Even though scans had only started, this alone was enough for a celebration of unimaginable proportions. This truly was the Holy World. Everything we had been looking for the last 10,000 galactic years, was right there. "Go forth into the great void, and find therein a single world so full of life, its mere existence defies the bleakness of the universe itself. Therein you shall find me, and with it, the commencement of paradise." So said the great prophecy. Entire civilizations have been created to explore the great chain for generations, all following the same message. The universe, bleak, empty. The worlds of those few lucky to be alive grace with so little life, as if our entire being had been created specifically to be challenged. Limited diets, food supply, but an abundance of mineral wealth. It was as if some divine creation of the stars brought us to existence and gave us enough resources to thrive just enough to explore the universe. Our entire mission was to find life, in any form, no matter what it may have been. Our entire religion was based on our need to find a great diversity of life, not just for purposes of faith, but also for better terraforming operations. Giving life to the lifeless universe was the purpose of our entire being. And this single planet was everything we could have asked for. The great Tsar pored over the datasheets. So many of them. So many. 20,000 species of arachnid. 4,000 species of serpent. 11,000 different bird types, so many canine and feline species, even so many more we never even saw before. Cold water, warm water, salt, fresh, water birds, land birds, tree birds, nocturnal, and diurnal. All of it we could ever want was right there. "I have seen enough," the great Tsar bellowed, and cut the galaxy's celebration short. Within seconds, all was silence. With the crowd placated, he spoke. "I hereby decree that with all evidence presented, I hereby designate this blue and green marble as our holy world of the goddess of life," he bellowed, his voice omnipresent. The celebration began anew, and we all breathed a sigh of joy as millennia of work finally came to a close. "There is a complication," the communications technician said, his lowly peasant voice somehow carrying through the celebration. The other two glared at him, not with scorn, but with concern. The celebration quickly died down and stopped within a minute. The Holy Tsar's face went from elated to furious in moments. "What complication?" "My greatness, this technician was organizing scouting units and accidentally sent a radio ping towards the planet," the science officer said. The great Tsar stood out of his seat, his face turning a bright green with pure rage. "Heresy! Blasphemy! You dare!" he bellowed loudly, scaring everyone. "How is this wretched scum not being flayed alive? How dare you!" The three on the ship visibly trembled and tried to stammer out a response. My lord, please, we are about to administer punishment for his blasphemous act. We swear. He was very much on the ground, ready to be flayed when... the commissar said. "When what?" the great Tsar commanded, his voice of great stress. "We received a return signal," the communications technician responded. The room fell into a strange silence. For a short but shocking moment, the entire galaxy forgot how to breathe. The communications technician took the chance and procured his wearable computer pad and pressed a series of buttons. It played a voice recording which started as simple movement orders, coordinating scout ships and camera crews. Then, a voice. "Serenova 223, proceed to coordinates." "Hello? Is someone there?" It was clear as day, auto-translated by the Galactic Standard Communion translation software. It was soft, sweet, enchanting, haunting, and terrifying all in one breath. It sent shivers through us. Then the technician's voice responded. "Hello? Who is on this frequency?" "This is Martian SETI Relay Unit 4. This is a private network. Please identify yourself," the voice replied. "We have no cadre with that name. Get off our network, heretic," the technician's voice said. "This is the Terran Federal Comms Network. You have illegally piggybacked into a private comms link. Identify yourself immediately, or a response fleet will be deployed." A different, much more terrifying and commanding voice replied. "We are the Holy Scout Fleet of the Great Mission. You have no authority over our holy... Wait, what? Terran? What's a Terran? Pardon me, but where are you right now? Just to clarify, I think something was amiss here. Where are you?" the technician said. "The big blue planet and the big red planet. What? Are you stupid? That's it, I've had enough of these jokers. Goddamn hackers always make my job hard. You have some nice cloaking tech there, privateers. We'll be taking it as payment." The comms then cut off, and something sounding like an anthem or litany started playing from the speakers. The galaxy remained silent. The technician just looked at his wearable device and waited. After what seemed an eternity of silence, he finally pressed a few buttons. The entire galaxy could see the display. The planet was occupied. "Blasphemy! They dare colonize our holy..." "They are locals, my holy one. All scans indicate they evolved here. Same carbon-based, protein-fed life forms. Genetic scans confirm full evolutionary roots. This is their home world," the science officer said, daring to interrupt the Holy One's words. The great Tsar slowly fell back into his chair. This is a Class 14 death world. A Category 3 hazard zone. How the hell did any sentient survive on this planet? The Great One said. The technician didn't speak, but he did return the hologram display to show new pictures. One of the blue-green beautiful holy world and another of a sister world, slightly smaller, but a bright, sandy desert red with patches of green and blue here and there, in craters or patches near what were clearly domed settlements. The locals have already begun the process of using their homeworld's lichen, fungi, and hardier plant life to terraform their closest neighbor. The terraforming process they are using is highly primitive in comparison, of course, but, they'll be done in half the time we usually take. It's true. This really is the holy world, the technician said, that last statement under their breath. The terraforming process they are using is highly primitive in comparison, of course, but, they'll be done in half the time we usually take. It's true. This really is the holy world, the technician said that last statement under his breath, but everyone could clearly hear it. The great Tsar was beside himself. One could not tell if he was furious or elated. How? How? Just how? Suddenly the screen jolted, throwing the captain out of his chair. The technician was thrown back into his console, and the science officer was likewise tossed, like an empty can, onto the floor. The only one still standing with any dignity was the commissar. Cloak is down. Engines are failing. We're dead in the void, a voice from behind yelled. Here they come! Multiple battleship-class vessels and intercept. Battle stations! Then came the single most infamous and beautiful still frame the galaxy ever saw. Like an avenging angel, a demon from the darkest depths, or the most awe-inspiring thing one could imagine, the camera changed to the gun sight on one of the ship's scout turrets. The Terran fleet suddenly walked into full view. Terrifying, oversized black, silver, and grey monstrosities, bristling with dozens of cannons, weapons, and turrets, all now aimed at the camera. The holy world gently floating behind them, backlighting them just enough one could clearly see the pointy ends of cannon barrels covering nearly every surface one could think of. They were sharp-angled, pointy, boxy things, with practicality in their designs. These ships were built for war, and only for war. Then a voice came over the radio, that same voice that called us stupid. It started out strong and direct, then quickly petered off too confused and stunned. We are the Terran Sector Patrol. Stand down your weapons and... wait. What? The hell kind of ship is this? Then another voice, the same one that started all this. The melodically beautiful one spoke up. Admiral Walker, sir? I don't think that's... It's not on any registry. I can see that. Hell even is this thing? Wait a minute. Weird language that has to go through translators? Oddly designed, albeit quite beautiful ship? Not on any registry. Am I the only one thinking this is a first contact situation? The voice said. Hold on, sir. I have an open video connection. They have compatible software. Give me a sec. The beautiful voice said. The image of a hairless ape-like biped wearing a dark blue and very fancy-looking uniform appeared on the screen. The creature had dark skin, almost brown like dirt, with 2 eyes and 2 matching tufts of hair above those eyes. Symmetrical face on both sides, with what looked like a visible battle scar on his right cheek. We could clearly see an omnivore, an extremely rare sight in the galaxy, as the sight of both flat green chewing teeth mixed with sharp meat-rendering teeth appeared in his mouth as he spoke. But those eyes, those hauntingly beautiful eyes, stark white on the outside with a beautiful pattern, like an artist's sculpture all surrounding a small dark spot. It was like each eye was in itself a reflection of a galaxy. A perfect ring, with veins and lenses appearing to copy the very design of the galaxies we came from. The screen changed to the captain's face as well. The entire galaxy could see this even taking place as his antenna twitched in thought and wonder. The creature looked at the captain and tilted his head. Well, bugger me. Actual aliens? Hold on a minute. This is way above my pay grade. Can I relay this to my boss? The creature said. The captain stared and stuttered his reply. Undoubtedly awed by the sight, but there was no excuse for that level of peasantry behaviour. He would likely be demoted for it. Yes, we will. We will put you in touch with our boss too. Ensign? Video relay. Set it up fast. Frequency 118 free. 118 free. Copy. Send ping when ready. The beautiful voice in the background said. These creatures work fast. A lot faster than anyone could have imagined, that was for certain. Ships across the galaxy were given the order to act as a relay with the throne world, and within minutes the scout ship was being towed into a dry dock for repairs, as the Holy Tsar and the creature's leader finally came into direct contact. The creature that finally appeared on screen had an aura of hatred and frustration about him. He wore a scarlet cloak with a gold trim, and although he was clearly human, his left arm and both legs had been replaced with blasphemous augmentations and machine parts. Disgusting. But that right eye... When the camera zoomed in on his face, his eyes were what took us all aback. One was green, the other was blue. A beautiful pattern of snaking veins forming a perfect replica of one of the galaxy's most beautiful and well-known tapestries. The other a soft green colour, with a strange, mismatched, but still delightful pattern. "Alright, let's get this over with," the creature spoke. His voice grating, stern, stiff, almost as if he were berating the universe itself for existing. And the universe was listening, in fear. "We are humans. This is the Terran Confederacy. This is our homeworld, and I will tell you this for free. We will never surrender, never retreat. This is our home, and I'll be damned to the darkest depths before we give it up. If you ever strike us, we will pursue you to the ends of the universe and dispense misery upon you until our last breath. In this life and any life that follows. We would rather see this star system destroyed and everything in it vaporized than ever dare see it in the hands of anyone else. Our fleet is on standby. Send your worst," he said. The Great Tsar seemed somewhat deflated at this statement. Half scarred, half angered. His Holiness was both disrespected and terrified of this creature all in the same breath. The Great Tsar finally spoke. Nowhere near as potent as we expected. It's almost as if this human was staring straight into his soul. "I am the Holy Tsar of the Great Combinance, the Lord Holy Skakandi the Fifth of Clan Solum. I am of the Rakandi peoples, and I serve as our great galactic leader. What is your name?" "You are very long-winded. My name is Lucas Jefferson Tafford, self-elected Supreme Dictator of the Terran Confederacy, for the last 2 decades now. Can we please keep this short? I'm in the middle of a diplomatic crisis. It's hard work keeping these idiots from shooting each other for the wrong wallpaper pattern," he said, glancing sideways in an angry fashion towards presumably other diplomats. A nervous cough and shuffling could be heard in the background. The Great Tsar was taken aback by this sentiment and looked visibly confused. "You may be an alien, but I recognize that expression. You look like you just stepped in dog crap. I'll give you a short history, okay? We are a warlike species. We've been at war with our homeworld since we can remember. If it's not hurricanes, earthquakes, or diseases, we've had a long, hard fight. Consequently, like mothers, like children, we fight each other over everything we can think of. Even past all that, it takes a lot to keep us from going completely babbling brook talking to trees barking insane. I was elected to my seat of power decades ago. I'm only barely keeping this patchwork of stupid together lately," the human said, to a strangely agreeable hum of responses from those around him. "I see. That makes sense, I think," the Great Tsar replied, still very offset in his stance. "So that brings us to the present circumstances. Why are you here, and what do you want? Please keep it short, I have diplomats to slap," he said, crossing his arms impatiently. The Great Tsar stayed silent for a moment, then regained his composure and straightened up. "We are the Great Combinants. Our entire faith is based on the quantity and quality of life in the universe, bacterial or otherwise. Our purpose is to spread life in any form to whatever world can host it. Terraforming as we go. We cannot be certain that paradise exists, so we endeavor to create it wherever we can. That is our faith. Almost all known sapient life follows at least some part of our doctrine. While some do not agree on leadership style, we all serve the same great purpose. Ah, that sounds nice. So why Earth then? Yeah, this place is full of life, but it's kinda crap. What with tornadoes and diseases and earthquakes and such? The human replied, shrugging his shoulders. It is precisely for that reason, human, we are here. Throughout the galaxy, across all home worlds, cradles, and wildlands, we have discovered, we have catalogued, through the entire known universe, including 3 separate galaxies, mind you, around 1.4 million species of insectoid, plant, avian, sea, and bacterial life. Your planet has over 8.3 million different species alone. And according to what we can glean from your archives, sorry for that by the way, you haven't even finished cataloguing most of your planet, so there's likely millions more. Your planet has the single highest biodiversity of any planet within 3 galaxies. This planet is what we have been looking for, across 10,000 years. And that's our years, not yours, which is a lot more from what I can tell from the data I have been sent, the Great One replied, his sense of pride and confidence returning. I don't like where this is going. In short, humans, we have no choice by the simple virtue of this planet's existence to officially classify it as a holy world in the name of the Great Combinance, and I stand by my decision to declare it as such, the Great One said. The human groaned in frustration. Thank you for making my job that much harder. The chatter in the background grew excited and forceful, as if the other politicians were attempting their own moves right then and there. Shut up, you twats! The human turned and bellowed angrily at those around him. The background chatter stopped suddenly. You understand what this means? It means that we are in for a hell of a time. Pilgrims and scientists will flock to the planet to collect samples and pay homage, and my home will surely become the biggest tourist destination in the universe. It also means I'm going to get no sleep as a consequence of having to host 10,000 diplomats, conglomerates, and leaders, while simultaneously trying to keep this gaggling, bumbling band of silly sausage-flavored baboons from not going insane. It means you effectively just killed my retirement plans. Thanks for that, the human replied. The human himself was very perturbed, but the resounding cheer that followed his statement said otherwise. It was almost as if he was having trouble specifically so he could be kept in office. As if on cue, the human leader realized this fact for himself and took a deep, tired, frustrated breath. So much for my planned self-imposed exile to a monastery in Venezuela, I guess. The human sighed frustratingly. He took a deep breath, shook his head reservedly, then stood to attention. We, the people of the Terran Confederacy, do hereby accept your call for diplomacy, and wholeheartedly invite you to join us. Your captured ship was disabled by the local security forces, but has been towed into dry dock for repairs at our expense. We ask for your forgiveness in casting the first stone. With the hope of better diplomatic relations, we invite you to join us, at least in a limited capacity for now, so we can better prepare our area for future operations. On behalf of the Martian Republic, the Terran Union, and the Venusian Royal Court, we welcome you to Sol, he said, and lifted his right hand to the side of his head in salute. The sudden shift in tone caught the great Tsar off guard. He too stood up and mimicked the human salute. And a great endeavor this shall certainly be. We will see you soon, the human leader said and stepped to the side. His voice once again back to gruff and annoyed as he yelled, Will someone please give me some painkillers? I can feel my brain trying to crack my skull open again. Fuck my life.